and I touched on this briefly, but you want a lot of real reviews. Don't just like the PO, the fake addresses, those are getting taken down. Just don't waste your time on that. And the real reviews, like, I've been testing some stuff too on the side. Like, they're not posting all reviews, right? Like, it's Google. Like I said, they basically know everything at this point. Like, they're somehow able to see. I mean, not always. It's not perfect, but we have seen it to where, like, it has to be a real customer review. Don't, because we've also seen some. Don't call your 10 best friends about, hey man, I need you to leave me a review. I mean, if you guys have done business together and you actually help them, then yeah, it's fine. I mean, Google probably knows how that somehow, right? But they're actually taking that. Sometimes now they just won't even post it all. But we've seen it where if it is a fake review and it gets crawled or somebody flags it or whatever, they'll actually take it down. So just like the spammy business names or whatever, it's not worth the time and effort. Just do it the right way. Take care of your customers, get a 5-star review, and it'll benefit you in the long run. Because, and this is just an example, right, of a client, like, not number one yet, eventually, yes, but even in the meantime, while they're making the climb, what's the first thing you notice when you look here? Like, just because I'm not, the top guy has 5 reviews. Our client has 62 5-stars. The guy below him, 7, and he only got 3.9. Who do you think's going to get the call? I mean, I'm not saying I'm not going to say the top guy and the bottom guy aren't going to get calls. Yes, they'll get calls. But I can promise you the majority of the calls are going to the 5-star 62. I mean, he's leaving them, and the next guy has 7 reviews, right? So you got to think about it. If your house was flooded, you need help. How would you interpret this search engine result, right? You'd be like, well, I don't know if I can trust the other guys. I mean, and nothing against these guys. If you see this, like, there's always something, right? Things happen, but over time, you want more and more 5-star reviews. It's a huge conversion aspect. And like I said, it's not only a ranking signal, but it's also a conversion aspect as well. So here's a couple ways that you can drive reviews, right? Like we have tools we offer for our clients that it can be an app on the phone. Your technician can do shoot the customer a text message and say, hey Debbie, if you're happy with my service, you don't mind, it really helped me out if you leave us a 5-star review. And sometimes people are weird about that or whatever, but a lot of times if you do, this is why I like reviews too. If you do a good job, they're like, yeah, no problem. Like, just tell me how to do it. Or you could leave a printed review card. I mean, this is kind of old school, but I still see it every now and then, like a handwritten testimonial. And I have seen it where people take pictures of those and then upload them to your website, right? Like, hey, a review testimonial is still a review testimonial. So that is one way to do it. But training the technicians to do it is the best way we've seen, and I like it too, because if they're going to have to ask for a review, they know they're going to have to offer a good service, because they're not going to ask for a review if Debbie's not happy, because they're not going to ask. If they think they're going to get a 1-star review, then they wouldn't be very smart to go to Debbie when she's pissed off and she's going to leave them a 1-star, right? So I like it too, because it's kind of a catch-22. Not only is it going to force and push the technicians to do good quality work, and then as a byproduct of that, they can get a 5-star review to build your reputation at the same time. And then sometimes we see clients, they like to, like, depending on who's asking for the review. Some people, when they're going back to the office doing their paperwork, they might call, text, email, Debbie in this example I'm using, hey, if you don't mind, will you please leave a review? But the conversion rate on that is a lot smaller than if you just train your technician Bob when he's there on the spot, face to face, like, hey Debbie, if you don't mind. And I'll just tell you one of the simplest ways to do it that'll work. Again, if it was me and I was about to go do it right now, I would say, if I was the technician, I'd be like, hey Debbie, if you don't mind, it seems like you're happy with the work I just did. And everybody has their cell phone within 2 feet of them, right? Like, everybody watching this now, I can promise you your cell phone's probably in the same room, right? So you could, if I was asking you, you'd say, hey Debbie, if you don't mind, like, do you mind pulling out your cell phone, searching us on Google, type in Bob's Restoration, then they Google my business. You can almost walk her through that. I mean, yeah, with COVID and all that, yes, you might need to keep your distance. But you can walk her through that say, if you don't mind, search her name, click write a review. And here's the good thing about that. She's already going to be logged into Google, 95% chance she will be already. So if she pulls out her phone, she can search, click write a review. She can type something in, about me right there on the spot. And like, all right, thanks, Debbie. You can say, can I see what you, my boss likes when I do this. If you don't mind, can I see what you wrote, whatever. But you can just, that's one simple way to do it. If you don't have a tool, yes, tools and all that makes that process easier. But if you don't have that and you're just looking to get more, like after this webinar, you could go do this right now if you're a technician or get with your team. Like, hey, whenever you finish up with a client, ask if you did a good job. Ask them if they don't mind leaving the Google My Business review. And that's a simple way to get it right there on the spot. And another ranking factor on this is on-page optimization. I'm not going to go too in depth on this. On this webinar, check our YouTube channel or call our office or email us, whatever. We'll get you a webinar recording if you want it. But I know our YouTube channel does have, I think last month I actually did the what's working now for SEO, and I go more in depth on-page optimization because there's a lot more to it than this name, address, phone number I'm about to talk about. But just know it, obviously Google, because when you have your website connected to your Google My Business profile, Google, the bot, is crawling that and it's linking all that together, right? So it's scanning your website to see, do we have this counts as a NAP, right? Name, address, phone number. So as you can see, you want to have this, it's usually in the footer on the websites. Because Google, again, it's crawling all this, and if all that matches up, and the Google bot's like, all right, I'm gonna give them some more points for having that on there. So, as far as a starting point, I would just, for everybody watching, just make sure the footer of your website has a consistent name, address, phone number on the bottom of your website, and then as you build out the citations over time, you can make sure that you have them on those properties as well, right? So that's kind of our formula, that what we do. I mean, there's little nuances that we kind of do behind the scenes to do that. But I just basically laid out the formula for you guys. If you do all of that on a consistent basis and clean up what's wrong, that's 95% of the battle there. And then depending on your market, you can do half of that and then be number one for a ton of keywords, depending on your competition. If you're in Houston, Texas, it's going to take a little more firepower probably, right? Like it depends on how many restoration companies are in your particular market, the population, and there's a lot of variables, right? But this is the overall formula to get it to work. Hope you got value out of that video. If you're looking for more ideas and strategies for better ways to market your water, mold, or fire damage restoration business online, you can go to restorationmarketinggroup.com, and there we have a free checklist you can download. It's called the Ultimate Online Marketing Guide for Damage Restoration Contractors. And there you'll be able to get the latest strategies that are working now to really increase your lead flow online. You can probably even 5 to 10x the number of leads you're getting per month from internet marketing. So there should be a link below, restorationmarketinggroup.com, and there you can download the checklist for free of charge, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.